everybody, welcome to a brand new episode. Today I'm talking with the lovely Kerry from Kerry Cares Parenting. Kerry, thank you so much for joining me. Tell me who you are and about your business and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, hi, Nicky. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited. My name is Kerry Secker, and I'm the founder of Kerry Cares Parenting. And my mission is to share the care with parents that you don't have to sleep train or teach your baby to sleep, and that sleep can come quite naturally and quite easily when we kind of strip it all back. And it's a very supportive and very logical approach to sleep.
Fantastic. And how did it all kind of come about? How did you set it up? And tell me a bit more about your background.
Well, it took a very, very long time to actually set up. I originally was a nanny. So 18 years ago, it started when I flunked out of A levels, and my dad said, you've got to go and find something else to do. And I found,
as they often do in those moments, don't they? Yeah.
Right, sporting, you've got to go and do something. And I come from a massive family, so always really enjoyed like working and looking after children. So I did the NNEB, which is the National Nursery Nursing Diploma, and then found out that I absolutely loved it. Like every day, I just, instead of finding the pub, I found that I actually wanted to go and learn things, which was amazing.
Oh, I should have done that. I found the pub, so yeah.
So hard when especially coming out of I went to a very strict Catholic school where it was very regimented, and every part was controlled. So God. To have all that, not have all that freedom, it was definitely too much for me. Found the course, absolutely loved it, and a lady came in. I still remember her name. I don't think she's going now, but she was Jemima from British Nannies, and she came in to give a talk about nannies, and I'd never heard what a nanny was before then. Like, I was a typical suburban working class girl.
Nobody had them. You had occasionally a babysitter who wanted to like bring a boyfriend round and go to the next base on their sofa, but it was never anything more than that.
And she made it sound so glamorous. Like, I was like, and the minute she came in, I was like, that is what I want to do. I want to be a nanny.
I'm going to wear white gloves. That's it.
Yeah, little uniform. I don't know. She just completely sold it to me. And through her, by the time I'd graduated, I had already lined up my first job with 3 children. Absolutely loved it. And then after that, I spent 18 years being a nanny, travelled all over the globe. I can't tell you the amount of fun I had. It was brilliant. I learned so much. Learned to ski, learned to swim. Well, I could swim, but learned new swim skills, like all these different families. It was amazing. And I got a real insight when living in with families with
I bet
how different every family is in that setup. And I'm incredibly nosy about, like, I love life and just love knowing how everybody does it. We all do it very differently. Anyway, when I first started out, I had to get the children to sleep. I was trained to do the whole control crying thing. If they're fed, clothed, and they're all right, you can just leave them.
The standard tick box is all sorted. So now
sleep. It doesn't matter anymore. And actually, I was just like, I came out the first time I did it, I was like, yes, I know what I'm doing. I can totally put this baby to bed. I came out and I was like, yeah, she's gone down. This is amazing. And then they just started crying and my heart went. I started sweating. These children weren't even mine, but absolutely hate. It just went against everything that my body was telling me to do something. And in the end, I stuck with it for a while because I thought that must be the only way because no one else has found another way. And then slowly over time, I realised I'm a very logical person, and I realised there's got to be a better way than this. So I found it. And my approach is the care it out approach. It's the complete opposite of control crying. And I realised actually, as I moved on from family to family, that parents don't want to leave their children to cry either. And there isn't actually any need to, really, once you've all got your sleep ducks in a row, so to speak.
Yeah, it's so stressful, isn't it? All of that kind of thing. And there's so much noise as well. And I think that's the same thing with parenting, is that everybody knows the answer of your child and all the rest of it. And then as the parent, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I must be doing something wrong or whatever. So was it that you knew that you wanted to specialise in sleep from the nannying? Was that the sort of side that you really wanted to focus on, or did it evolve naturally?
No, it was quite how the whole carry it out approach came. It kind of evolved quite naturally, or organically rather. And what happened was all my friends started to have babies and they would come and ask me for advice. And then I would meet, as a nanny, I would meet other parents in the park and they would moan, they would not moan, but they would say, I think I must be doing something wrong. Exactly as you said, I must be doing something wrong, but you can't, it's impossible to parent wrong because there's no right way to do it.
Yeah.
And there's no law or baby bible, so to speak, when it comes to your baby. Your baby, they don't come with a manual, but your baby is the manual, and if we listen to them, they will tell us exactly what they want and when. It's just having that trust and that confidence to do it.
Yes.
But it's really difficult when you just everybody's got an opinion on your child. It's like it personally affronts them when your baby doesn't sleep. It's ridiculous. It's like they're in the room with them, but it really is. It's nobody else's bed business. So that's how it started up. Was that I would help friends. I helped people in the park. Friends of the family I was working for, they would ask for my advice, and then I realised I moved back to London from living abroad, and I realised that actually there was a niche. I never set it out to be what it was now. I set it up as more of a support service, to kind of just somewhere for parents to go to get a bit of just a bit of perspective and a bit of realism on the sleep.
Yeah, because there's nothing like a bit of sleep deprivation to challenge your perspective on things. Or
no, exactly.
So that's amazing that you can offer that as well.
And it just snowballed from there now.
Wow. And so what was it like kind of going from being part of other people's family and their life to kind of going, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to break away. I'm going to go pro, go serious.
Go pro. Go hard or go home.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a really gradual process. I was really fortunate that I've got a really, really supportive husband. And the last nanny family I worked for, we became really good friends. And I knew the minute I worked for her that she was going to be the last person, because I'd had such a good time with them. I thought I could never work for a better person. So I always knew that would be the end. Whatever happened, I'd kind of made my mind up. I've forgotten what the initial question was, sorry.
Well, just how did you go pro in the sort of, I know when I speak to loads of my clients and when I speak to other mums and other friends of mine, we all sort of have these little things in our head like, oh, it would be really fun just to start a business or write a book or things like that. But often people don't make the jump necessarily, and I don't know what that is that stops. Often it's fear. I know myself, I've got loads of projects up my sleeve that need to get done, but something's holding me back. So how did you make that transition, I guess?
Okay, got you. I remember now where I was going with that. Sorry. It was a very, very gradual process, and I still looked after the children. So I was still nannying full time when I did it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to put myself out there. I had no idea where it was going to take me, where it was going to go. And then gradually over time, the children got a little bit older. They went to school, so I went part-time, and then I would gradually that scaled back, and I've only now just officially left them. I was still taking them to school a couple of mornings a week. It's ridiculous. And then as I got busier and busier, it just somehow it just worked. Like that scaled down, and I got busier and busier. And the more I did it, the more confident you get, and you find what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, and you find your flow with it. And I think sometimes you have to get it wrong sometimes, or you have to try something and then tweak it as you go, because that sort of theory of like everything will be perfect and then I will start and then it will continue to be perfect. It's just a bit of a myth, really, because it's a journey and all of that kind of stuff.
No, it totally evolved naturally. I didn't have a business plan. I'm not a salesperson. It just came about naturally. It felt the right thing to do. I definitely found that it was my calling to just share that mission that you can get more sleep, and it can be simple. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be traumatic for parents and children, and it can all feel very right, and giving that confidence to parents as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about confidence, and you have that feeling sometimes where you're like, oh, I think I've got this, and then of course it all changes the next day and you're like, okay, we're going to have to course correct here. But so how did you do those sort of practical things like setting up a website and kind of starting to embody this new role, I guess?
The website I did myself. I
Brilliant.
just
Me
sat down.
too. I love it because I can just, I can change it, I can tweak it as I go, and you don't have to wait a fortnight for somebody to do something for
No.
you.
And I had this idea, like the everything that I kind of share with parents is stuff that I learn on the job. So I really am selling myself, and I wanted the website to be me, even if it
Yes.
wasn't perfect. I wanted it to be me, and I wanted it to be very simple and no bells or whistles. My website's very straightforward, and again, it's evolved over time, and I'm really happy with it at the minute. It's not fancy, there's no bells and whistles, it
No.
is what it is, but that's exactly what I'm about.
Yeah, and you know your customer as well. If your customer is sleep deprived, they just need the answers there and then and make the
Yeah,
process really
they
simple.
don't want waffle or false promises or that big sell. They just want to know your approach, who they're getting, who they're using. I think it's such an important thing because it's such a personal job. It's a really intimate job. You
Mm,
have to go in, find out, talk about sleep, where they're sleeping, and you need to have that rapport straight away.
yes. And how did you, I guess, what has been really useful for you in terms of marketing and things like that? Because I know sometimes when people start businesses, they kind of go, right, I've got to look at marketing or I've got to look at social media. Did you have a strategy in place, or did you have an idea of the brand and what it was going to look like and how you were going to? No, good, me neither.
No idea. Like I had no idea. And again, I knew that I wanted it to be very simple and very fuss free and straightforward,
Yes.
and logical. I'm a very logical person, but I think the branding, again, that's evolved. Like I've had a little bit of help, but again, it's evolved, and I've done most of it myself.
Yeah.
With the marketing, I've never had to advertise.
Wow, that's
Or
brilliant.
every family comes through word of mouth, and it took me a long time to get the hang of social media. I'm still not that great, so you
It can be
definitely learn.
really overwhelming, can't it? It's just like, it feels like it's just never, well, it is, it's never ending. There's
And
always,
do you know what? They do that on purpose. They make it never ending to keep people hooking back and going, keep going and going and going. There's a
mm,
name I can't remember. There's no natural pauses. In most things, there's a natural pause, but in social media, there isn't. And they've
yes.
done it on purpose because you never get that fix of that it's finished.
Interesting. And how did you kind of figure out your, I don't know what you were sort of selling, as it were, because I think sometimes people go, well, I don't know what to offer or how to figure that all out. Did you sort of know what the process was and then kind of package it up, or how did you figure that out, I guess?
I think how I started. It must have been, again, that's definitely changed as I've listened to what parents want, and I've made it as straightforward as possible. Like there isn't five different packages, it is
Yes.
like home or phone or over Skype, and that's it really. And I think the key has been quite flexible, like listen to what your clients want and
Mm,
respond to it.
brilliant.
But I definitely didn't set out with packages like that. It's definitely evolved as I've learned, gone through the process and learned what families are after.
Yeah. And what do you want to, I guess, build? What is the sort of, what's the dream, baby? But like, where do you see it going, or what do you want it to become? More of the
I don't know
same,
where
or
it's going to go because I didn't ever think it would go this far when I set it up.
wow.
But I think ultimately I'm on a mission to share the care that sleep doesn't have to be, you know, really hard to come by, that babies do you know what? Just to share realistic sleep expectations and share the care that you don't have to sleep train or teach your baby to sleep, that sleep can come quite naturally and quite easily when you've got everything in place. I think we've completely overcomplicated quite a lot of stuff, and sleep is a huge business now. Like parenting as a brand is a huge business these days, and lots of people, did you know you don't even have to be qualified to call yourself a sleep consultant?
Wow.
And you don't even have to have worked with children before. Like anybody who knows it's not regulated.
Oh my
It's
goodness. Well,
and when you hear the word consultant, it seems quite fancy, like you know what you're doing,
yeah.
and it's not always the case.
No, there's a lot of business coaches out there, and you're like, but you don't have a business, or you're not trained, or yeah, it's a very grey area, isn't it?
It is a very grey area, and I just want to I want to be in that middle of where it's support, it's friendly. The goal isn't always to get your baby sleeping through the night; it's to get them to their biological best, and just support really.
Absolutely. And if somebody is watching this and thinking, yes, I've been doing the same thing for a long time, but I keep getting that little niggle that I know it's time to break away, to do something different, even though it feels scary,
Yeah.
what kind of things would you say to them?
Just go for it, because you just don't know where it's going to take you. You just don't know, and just start small. Like if you've got a dream and you want to do something, you can definitely do it. You are, I love that phrase, you are the driver of your own bus. So you can, your thoughts become things, but just be brave and just go for it. Get it down on paper. And as long as you've got passion and you really enjoy it, it will go. I do think it will go somewhere.
Fantastic.
And just be open-minded.
Yes. And how is kind of collaborations, or what sort of things do you have in place that really just keep you going and things like that? Is it your support network, or what sort of helped you get to where you are now?
Do you mean, well, my husband is a great help. I certainly couldn't do it without him, because from a financial point of view, I couldn't have stepped back from what I was doing before. And when you are setting up a business, you don't earn very much in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think in the first year I had one client, like it was ridiculous.
Yes.
And now I work with between 5 and 7 families a week. So that I can't believe that I kept going with that one client. There must have been something in me that kept me going.
Do you know what that was?
I'm quite stubborn. If it's not working, I'm more inclined to do it even more, because I want it to work. I'm definitely not a quitter. But I don't know what kept me going. Probably my husband. And then also what keeps me going from a business point of view is just meeting people. Like talking to the parents, getting out there, I run sleep sessions as well, just meeting them. They are my support, and collaborating with people on Instagram as well, like we're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so important, that sometimes when you set up your own thing or your own brand or whatever it might be, you're kind of in this isolated world, or at the moment, you may not have a big office in a co-working space. So, reaching out and doing the things that you can do right now to collaborate, to show support, to message someone on Instagram and kind of go, I really enjoyed like when I put a blog post up and somebody replies and says, I really enjoyed it, it helped me. It just makes you feel so much better. And I really try to do that for other people, because we're all doing such brilliant things in the world, but it's like you need to know that somebody's reading it or connecting with it. And my partner said something great the other day of like, just because people aren't engaging doesn't mean they're not reading. And it was such a slow motion, whoa, that makes such sense, because sometimes you can put something into the world and you don't necessarily get the traction or the communication that you're expecting, but then you'll meet somebody in the flesh 6 months down the line and they'll go, I read that video, it changed my life, I watched that video, it changed my life. So it's those sort of small steps that you're taking on a daily basis as well.
And when people message you as well, just to not necessarily to work with me, but just to say, I think just to say that they found my feed or my social media reassuring, and that they just felt so much better, that makes me feel amazing, that I haven't even worked with them one-to-one, but I'm making a small difference.
Fantastic.
That excites me.
And what are your plans for the rest of the year? What can we expect? What's coming up? What's exciting?
Lots of exciting things. So I've just started my radio show over on UK Health Radio, and that's really exciting.
Fantastic.
Hopefully going to be interviewing lots of people related to sleep, and I'm hoping to see where I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm excited to see where it is going to go. And also I'm really hoping to write a book, but I'm really worried about that. but I
Okay.
am going to put it down there.
We'll talk at another time. We'll get that far. Do you know what? It's that funny thing about writing a book is like it's actually just writing the first sentence. That's always the hard bit.
Yeah,
It's like going to the gym. I keep looking at my trainers or going for a
yeah.
run. I just keep looking at them, but I know as soon as they're on, then I have to move
Then
my
you're just
ass.
I'm just a bit scared that I'm going to shoot myself in the foot by writing a book, because I'm a little bit. Parenting books are great, but they're not. They're just a guide,
Yeah.
uh, and I don't. I want there to be middle ground. I want to be. I've seen myself right in the middle, and I do think there is a niche for that, like a really simple, straightforward sleep book.
Yes.
Um, and somebody recently, I can't remember who it was, but I hadn't thought of it before, and then it must have been somebody I'd met at a sleep clinic, and they just said, what you're saying just makes so much more sense. Oh no,
Yeah.
it was somebody on Instagram had said, I've never met this person before, and they said that everything, I read your feed every day, and everything you say makes so much more sense than any book I've ever read, any professional I've spoken to. And that comment spurred me. I just thought, do you know what? If one person, even if just one person reads that book and
Yeah.
it's out, I'll have helped one person.
Absolutely, because you realise that sleep has a knock-on effect to everything. I didn't
Yeah,
sleep
it's
until I went to
everything.
school, and I think my mum still suffers from a bit of insomnia, and thinking that I'm going to wake up, and I'm 35, so like
Yeah.
we don't even live together. So if people want to get in touch and find out more about your services, or come and say hello, all that kind of good stuff, where should we send them?
You can either come and find me on Instagram at Kerry Cares Parenting, or I have a website which is www.kerrycaresparenting.com. Very original.
Wonderful. No, it's simple as the best. Like when people have got those hyphens and slashes and all those kind of things, you're like, where are you? Who are you doing?
A very simple person. I haven't got
Exactly. I'm so the
able
same.
to do
Business
that.
can be complicated in many ways. Like, let's just keep the basics really
Yeah,
simple. Well,
life is complicated.
thank you. I've loved talking to you, and I of course I'm in that category of reading your blog and reading your Instagram and things like that. And I know, as a parent of an 18-month-old who is quite a Larry sleeper, to say the least, I know that it's really reassuring, and just that connection of having people that you just feel like you're being heard and you're being understood and not judged. I think you're wonderful at that. So
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
No worries. Speak soon.